Hello and thank you for being here. I am Cy, the healthy guy, and I am here to share with you a special experience. As you may have known since my last video, or from my last video, I went 90 full days with no caffeine, and that included no chocolate, no caffeine of any kind from any source. And I didn't know if I was going to have caffeine again. I have decided I'm going to have caffeine. I don't know how regularly I'm going to have it, but I did want to share my experience the first time of having caffeine in 90 days with you. I'm going to take you throughout the day and give you reports on how I'm feeling, because I'm sure it's going to be wild, because it literally is almost like a psychedelic drug to me if I haven't used it in a while. And so this is going to be an interesting experience, and I'm sure I'm going to have lots of ideas, and I'm going to feel really good, and we'll see how I feel at the end of the day and tomorrow when I do my report to let you know how I feel in the morning. I want you to know that I'm going into this with only 3 hours of sleep last night. I just couldn't sleep. I've got a lot on my mind because some things have changed in my life recently. I'm doing some new things. That's part of what I wanted from my challenge. I've got new things going on. But as a result of having these new things going on, there's a lot to think about, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And I thought, I'm excited about it. In addition, I wanted to tell you that I'm thinking of my life in a way like a Survivor reality show. So I'm not letting this sleep or lack of sleep bother me. I know I'm gonna win a challenge. I'm winning the $1 million challenge. That's the goal. And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get to it. For my first caffeine in 90 days, I'm going to be drinking 2 kinds of teas. I've got a whole quart of yerba mate, and I've got another 2 cups of straight black tea. This is all organic, and I've got some cream with milk. So I've got some heavy whipping cream, about 1/3 of a cup, along with 2 cups of milk that I'll be drinking this with. And I'm going to take my first sips here in a moment. Just want to show you what I've got. Got the whipping cream, I've got yerba mate tea, and I've got black tea. Can you tell which is which? So I'm gonna go ahead and take my first sip of black tea right now. Black tea, first in 90 days. I remember that taste. Tastes like you're going to want to have more once you have a sip of it. And yerba mate tea. I'm going to take the first sip of that. One of my favorite teas. Also tastes very good. Even though I've got the cream, I don't even know if I'm going to want to have it with it. I just thought I'd share this really quick. So I'm drinking this tea, and this is the feeling I remember when I drank tea when I hadn't had it in a while, or when I basically even took a couple days break from it with cream, and it is like my body is just sucking it up. Such an interesting thing, right? How, I mean, I don't know how to explain it exactly, except for that your body just sucks it up. You drink it and it's just your body wants more. Why is it not like that with ginger tea or rooibos tea? Why is it like that with this black tea, for example, that I'm drinking right now with the cream? Pretty sure the cream with the yerba mate is going to be the same way, but very interesting. So this is how powerful something like caffeine is when you haven't had it in a while. I'm watching a video. It's about advanced glycation end products, and I'm watching it, but my thoughts keep going away from the video into my head, just about the thoughts about thoughts. For example, somebody says something about what fasting does for advanced glycation end products, and my mind is thinking about all these related thoughts to fasting and how it can be helpful and beneficial, and I find that I'm not even paying attention to the video anymore. Just interesting to see how powerful caffeine is. Okay, now I'm experiencing another familiar feeling, but it's just way stronger now because my body is not used to this, but I haven't had anything to eat today. The only thing that I've had is the milk and cream with, so far, 2 cups of tea, and I am seeing the appetite suppressing effect. I can hardly imagine to eat anything. I feel unbelievably good. I must have dopamine going through the top of my head because I feel great. And I kind of expected this, of course, but it's just interesting to see what's going on. I got a very nice big watermelon, and I wanted to eat a good portion of it, but I'll probably have to wait till way later when I'm feeling like I actually want to eat something else. Now I'm thinking about my kids and how I love them so much and how proud I am of them and how they're just amazing. And that reminds me of how I have a great amount of things to be thankful for, but I just love my kids and I think they're so awesome in spite of their flaws. And I'd really love to share them with you, but I don't want to exploit them. So I'll just wait for right now. But 8 is the youngest, then I have an 11-year-old, and I have a 14-year-old. Ideas, like I said, caffeine ideas. Wasn't as a result of caffeine that I had this idea, but now it's really going through my head about how awesome this idea is. And I'm sure that you've all heard this before. I'm just preaching to the choir. However, life and challenges, doing real estate as a new business, still no sales, just very early in my real estate years, meaning real estate weeks, you come up with challenges and things that people think you should do, and then having to think about yourself and who you are, and can you stay who you are and be who you want to be, meaning can you keep your soul? This is my answer to that, is when I think about the things that I'm asked to do from other people, I think, is that me? And then I think, well, how can I make that me? How can I do it with integrity, for example, in a way that makes me feel good? So if it's something that I completely reject, then of course I'm going to reject it completely. But the thing is that I've asked myself, it's like a game, how could I do this my way? And then of course I'm always just asking help from God, and that helps me so much. So yes, ask yourself, how would you do something? If it's not something that you want to do, if it has something to do with you being more successful, and it's questionable to you what you should do or what people are telling you to do, how could you do it and it still be okay for you? Has truly been an awesome day so far. I've only had my cream and tea and watermelon so far, not very much watermelon, so my appetite has been very low. On the little sleep that I had, I do feel like I'm fading a little bit, but I'm feeling great. But my daughter did say that my eyes look like I'm vegan with the way that they look right now, which is just kind of a funny thing. It wasn't a compliment, by the way. And did I say I played frisbee golf with my wife? It was really fun, and I did very good. Now I want to show you a pop that I haven't drank yet, but I maybe will drink today still. It has caffeine in it, and I'd never seen this pop, but recently I was going through Whole Foods and I got one for each of my kids. They had never had a pop like this, like an actual like cola with caffeine in it, and this is an organic one, so I'm gonna just go ahead and show you real quick. You could say I am a fan of quality things. I'm not saying this is healthy. I'm just saying I'm a fan of quality things. And this one, I haven't tasted yet, but I have tasted other like root beer and ginger beer or ginger brew that this same company makes. And I really have liked those. Those don't have any caffeine in them. But I think this is awesome. I think the whole branding and labeling is really cool. And, you know, it's organic, so it's better than something that's not organic. Let's take a closer look. Last check-in today. I don't know how I look to you, but I feel a little faded. Don't know if that's the right word, but that's how I feel right now. But I do feel good, and it was a great day. And considering I only had 3 hours of sleep last night, I'd say it was a great day. And we're going to just have to see how tomorrow comes out. So I will report back. Final report tomorrow. Okay, so it's morning, and I have to admit that caffeine is a neurotoxin. You already knew that probably, but during the night after my last clip and into the morning as I was laying in bed, there were a couple times where I felt like, oh my gosh, okay, the downside of caffeine is how bad it is about as opposite of how good it is when it's good. But surprisingly, even with not as much sleep, I don't feel as bad right now, but I could definitely say that at least binging on caffeine, meaning having about 6 cups of tea after you haven't had any for 90 days, is going to be a shock to your system. We'll talk about this and sum it up pretty soon. Conclusion time. End of the caffeine adventure that I took you on with me. I am a little tired. I didn't get a great sleep last night, and the night before, when I hadn't even had caffeine, I only had the 3 hours of sleep that I told you about. So I felt a little tired, but I did do my workout. I even got a muscle up. That was good. I don't get them every time, so when I do get them, that's awesome, and I'm getting more consistent. So that was good. When it comes to caffeine, what I saw is that it puts a lot of stress on your body. Sure, you get that dopamine spike where you feel good for a long time, but then the other end of it is almost as bad as the good part is good. And then you kind of level off, and then you want more. And that's the addiction cycle. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to experiment with caffeine a little bit more with my tea, and I'm not going to give it up completely ever, but I know that I will have times that I will maybe go for a very long time without it, and I'm going to see if I can just whittle it down to maybe a cup or two a day, because it seems like it's such a shock to your system when you have as much as I had yesterday, which was 6 cups, that it seems like it's got to be bad for you. I know that it's got to mess with your hormones to put that much stress on you. My wife actually said my hair looks more gray today, and I think that it is true. And I have noticed that before when I've overdrank caffeine, that it seems at least like the gray hairs that I do have, even in my eyebrows, probably grow quicker. Just an interesting observation. Might have to look into that a little bit more to see if there's any science that backs that up, but it does seem like there's some truth to that. I definitely feel like it's stressful on the body, especially when you haven't done it for a long time, to hit it with a binge like I did, which was those 6 cups. Luckily, I only drank it in the morning time when I showed you what I was drinking, so that was a good thing that I didn't have any more after that. I still feel like my adrenal glands were affected, my kidneys were probably affected. It's a big deal. But I hope you like this video. If we can get this video to 1 million views, then I will quit caffeine for another 3 months. If you like this video, please share it with others and comment, share your thoughts, and please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. As you know, that means a lot to me. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.